There's been some major developments at PMWEB lately, and I really want to showcase what's going on at PMWEB.
It is really exciting. About a year ago or so, we received a very significant round of funding from private equity partners with the mandate to greatly expand in all sorts of ways. I'm not just talking about volume or something like that. I'm talking about moving PMWEB into its next level of being. Last year, we announced our rebranding of the company. We have an all new look and feel as a company itself, and we are taking all the additional resources that were provided to us to put everything back into the software, into the platform. And we're doing that in a whole bunch of different ways. It's allowing us to do a complete technical upgrade of the system. So the entire platform is moving to the latest technology. That alone gives us access to all sorts of new tools and features that we couldn't have done before. We're also investing that in human resources. We're greatly expanding who works for PMWEB in all sorts of different ways. That includes internal employees, but it also includes partners like CBA, for example, where we're trying to get you guys more involved in the entire process so that we can do more outreach, if you will. This has allowed us to do a whole bunch of other things, including developing a much more ambitious roadmap, for example. Because we know we have all these resources, we're able to take the plans we've always had, but now accelerate them, grow faster, move faster, be more nimble, and react to the changes in the marketplace, changes in the technology, all sorts of things that we were always doing, but at a different level. Now we are at this new level, and we have so many new potential directions to grow in because of that. So it's been really exciting, and it's going to be even more exciting in the next couple of years as we continue to evolve that way.
What are some of those technology capacities that we're going to see roll out to customers in regards to cloud infrastructure or field capacities and integration capacities?
I won't be too specific, but I will tell you this. PMWEB is unique, and it always has been, in that clients can host PMWEB in their own environment if they wish, or we can host it for them in our cloud. One of the very interesting things we've found is that our cloud has proven to be so fast and reliable that many of our clients who chose originally to host themselves are now migrating to the cloud because they just see the benefits. There's benefits for them, there's benefits for us. For example, we can keep them up to date with absolutely no friction. As soon as something needs to be pushed to them, we can do that. We ask them first, right. But there's no sort of technical hurdles in terms of getting things out to them. So they're always working with the latest that we have to offer them. That's something that we'll continue to expand on. And in fact, as we reinvent ourselves, as I guess this is, we will continue to stress the importance of moving to our cloud solution because it just pays. It's a win-win for everyone. Mm-hmm. There's no question about that. Other technologies that we are doing is we are completely reinventing the user interface with new technical tools as well as a new look and feel. And we're doing this as a result of years of research. Clients have given feedback, told us what they wanted, how to improve it. We are doing that. Also, at the Projections Conference, our user conference, which we'll talk about in a minute or two, we will be announcing a whole bunch of new initiatives that are flowing out of this sort of technological reinvention that we're doing. That will include, for example, a brand new mobile experience, which is not an app. It's not limited to one or two functions of PMWEB. It is the entire platform on your phone. And it will be fast, it will be responsive, and it encompasses the entire thing. So that there's no limitations, there's no apps to download, there's nothing to maintain, to reinstall. It's all there, just ready to go as soon as you sign into PMWEB. In addition to that, one of our new ambitious roadmap goals is to integrate with more and more outside data sources of all kinds. We've always done that, of course. Practically all of our clients have outside sources of data that they can't give up. And in fact, for example, we're not an accounting system, so we don't write checks. Data has to flow to the accounting system. It's got to flow back to PMWEB. So we've always built very robust integrations with all sorts of outside sources. But now we are actually building an entire path of data integration roadmaps just by itself, so that we will be pulling in data and sending out data to more and more systems.
That I found to be different about PMWEB is the program's ability to integrate with so many different other programs. You're not gatekeepers. The PMWEB structure is made to be nimble and friendly to other software programs out there that people are using, and not a lot of project control software is like that.
No, I think you're exactly right. And I guess if I take a step back, I like to think of PMWEB as sort of the control center for what you do. And that means you can do the work in PMWEB, and there's a huge number of tools that you can, but it also means data has to come in to that one central control center so that you get meaningful real-time feedback that will actually alert you to any potential issues and allow you to take the correct action. More and more, we are going to emphasize that PMWEB should be that center, that control center, that hub, if you will, for everything related to the asset management, whether it's planning or the actual project or running or maintaining something. It should all flow into PMWEB because that's the commonality. That's the place where you can go and see all the answers to all the questions. Whether it was actually generated in PMWEB is going to become less and less important. You know,
Right.
PMWEB will serve as that control center, but you're not worried about who actually input the data or where, what machine it's monitoring or something like that.
Everybody wants to talk about AI. Everybody wants to know what people are doing with AI. So if that's something that you can elaborate on, how PMWEB is going to start incorporating AI into their product.
Sure. Yeah, it's hard to avoid, isn't it? There's no conversation that doesn't include AI these days. AI, and I guess I'll give the first response, which you probably hear over and over as well with everyone you speak to, which is AI has amazing potential. AI also has amazing risks, and I think we're all aware of both sides of that coin. The first thing I will say about PMWEB and AI is that we first and foremost look at the risk side. We consider it our sort of sacred duty to maintain the integrity of our clients' data. That is a trust. I mean, that is a serious trust, and I'm not saying that lightly. It's really true. And we've always conducted ourselves that way. So, for example, when we were creating any of those integrations we were just talking about, our first concern was security. Put the data in, but make sure it's the right data and it's clean data, and make sure nothing leaks out, and make sure there's no way to compromise that system. Well, with AI, that's one of the fundamental questions around AI, which is, yeah, I get the benefit of an AI to apply, let's say, a large language model to my data, or to interact with it in an easy to do way and let it, let's say, automate some processes for me. But to do that successfully, the AI wants to be connected to its home so that it can learn and everyone else in the AI can benefit from your experiences. That's a problem on many, many different levels because, as we've seen, it's so easy for the data to be lost, sort of mysteriously evaporate, if you will. So our first concern and our first guarantee is that no matter where we go with AI, we are taking security as the most important consideration there. But there's a lot of good stuff. So the good stuff is we have a whole string of AI initiatives underway. I'm guessing that the first thing that users will see is introductions of AI into the interface, allowing them, for example, in a table of data to just simply ask for analysis. Say, group by this, show me the 5 highest costing items and filter for these things, which you can all do in PMWEB, and you've been able to do that, and we've introduced tools to make it easier to do that. But now you can just do it by speaking, literally speaking.
Right.
To the computer and saying, do this, and it immediately does it. We've got that in place. I'm guessing that will be the first thing that end users are going to see. We're also, of course, doing back-end things with AI, things that users don't see. We're already doing those. For example, in the world of technology development, There's so much rote work, like repetitive tasks, stuff that has always in the past required humans to do over and over again. AI does a really good job of automating that, cleaning that process up, checking, double checking, triple checking instantly without us having to intervene. So those things are already going on behind the scenes. Other things in AI in PMWEB will include, I think, and I would say this is the general trend for every tech component that we will see over the upcoming years, is users will spend less time actually entering data, and instead they will be consuming data either as a report or as an analysis or something, and AI is going to automate that. So that, and it's not just AI, it's actually other tools as well, where you'll be able to pull data in from different sources automatically. As I mentioned earlier, we consider PMWEB the control center. So we're going to make sure that this data flows in seamlessly, and it requires absolutely no thought on your part, for example, to know where it came from. But we will then use AI tools to substantiate the data and then give you analysis of all of that information, collected information in one place. And because it's in PMWEB, it will then make recommendations about how to proceed from there. There's lots of other things too. One of the most important features of PMWEB is our visual workflow system, which allows you to define business processes, anyone, quickly, easily. You can apply it to one project or every project or one record and every record. It's very flexible and very configurable. We've always thought of that as the heart of PMWEB in some way, no matter what you're doing. AI is very good, and we are looking at overlaying our visual workflow with AI so that if, for example, a business process consistently fails in one area for some reason, AI can step in and either suggest alternatives or could simply automate the process of fixing that, streamlining it and moving it right along. That's exactly the kind of thing that AI is good for. And step back and look at that. That's a use of AI where it's only looking within PMWEB's boundaries. It is not looking for outside data, it's not looking for outside information, and it's not looking for any kind of outside input. It's just within the PMWEB container. So that is absolutely secure, and that is something that we can completely control.
Yeah.
And the final point about AI, predictive AI is a good thing, where it will monitor your data and tell you when a trend is shaping up or when something might fail. Generative AI is something that will probably be last on our list in terms of considering things. Having AI actually make decisions and acting on them by itself is a problem. And we see that, I'm kind of sad to say, in our own marketplace. We see some people making these claims that, you plug it in AI and it's going to go ahead and make these decisions. Boom, you've got all these, new records and it's taking all these actions.
Yeah, you got to be so careful. It is still going to take human knowledge and human oversight to make sure that those are actually correct. And that is my biggest concern too with the rollout of AI. Is it's in our nature as humans to want it to be easy, right? We want them to be simple. And how much easier and simple can it be to just say, Claude, pay my bills this month for me and draw it out of my bank account automatically, and then, just maybe tell me what you did. And think that the AI will be able to do that without making mistakes. That's just not possible. Not yet.
I agree. And I think it's even worse in other parts of the project management world. For example, using AI to generate, let's say a contract document, which it can do, but it can also run away pretty quickly. It is not necessarily what PMWEB is going to do. I don't see us in the world where we say, click the AI button and poof, your records will be there and your data will be moved around and life will be perfect. I'd be highly suspect of anybody who says that to you.
Well, and depending on which AI you're using, I've noticed, it's like with contracts, right? how it says AI is going to replace lawyers. Well, it tries, but depending on which AI you're using, the accuracy of that response, that data, or the contract that you've asked it to write is wildly different. That's where, yeah, I just caution anyone who doesn't really know about AI to just trust things that people who are AI experts are telling you it can do. And substantiate that, because AI is going to be a wonderful and powerful tool to help humans to make things faster, to be able to integrate data wickedly fast and accurate, as long as it's designed by somebody who really understands how AI works, understands computers, understands the program that you're using AI on, right?
Sure. It is definitely a two-edged sword, and you got to be aware of both of them.
We have the conference coming up, April 29th through May 1st. Let's talk about some of the exciting things that you'll be discussing at the conference and why people should attend.
Yeah, sure. It is exciting. PMWEB's had a user conference, as we called it, for years, and that is wonderful. I mean, that's the highlight of our year. We all work towards that because it is the best thing possible is to get together with our clients, first of all, but also our reseller partners and like CBA, for example, and other folks as well who are in that sort of sphere of PMWEB. This year, we're taking it to a whole new level. The name is changed. It's now the Projections Conference. It's taking place in San Diego in late April. We are inviting back, of course, any user, any current PMWEB client that wants to come. This is a great opportunity to meet other folks like yourself, to meet us, and to meet all of the advisors of PMWEB and that sort of thing. But we're also expanding our reach. We're inviting potential clients, folks who just want to learn about PMWEB, who are considering it but haven't yet decided, because we will have content specifically for them as well as existing users. We're also inviting members of the press so that they can get a greater global understanding of what PMWEB's doing. And we are also inviting other industry experts, so not necessarily directly related to PMWEB, but folks in the industry who understands the challenges that everyone's facing, and they will deliver information about that. We're also changing the emphasis this year to conversation, discussion. We're organizing panels of existing users who will discuss their industry. So it will be divided like into market segments, let's say healthcare or energy, and they will serve on panels and they'll have discussions around their challenges, their solutions, how PMWEB's helping them. It'll be targeted content in that sense. Of course, we're also doing the traditional things as well. First and foremost, it's going to be a great time. PMWEB people know how to have fun. There will also be awards, which we have an awards program, which we began last year. We present awards to all sorts of people at the user conference, and this year at Projections, we'll be doing that as well. And we'll be making some really big announcements. Let's say that. There's going to be some really exciting news about PMWEB now and PMWEB in the near future.